Previously, I did the discussion talking about W.D. Ross's discussion about the meaning of right, and about how where he said here, even with words that do stand for such things, there is this danger of ambiguity, of like the sense of the color red. There's a ambiguity there, even if two people find that the things one calls red are just the things the other calls red, it is by no means certain that they mean the same quality. Now, I related this to inner subjectivity, and I related this to my epistemological idealism arguments that I've been spewing at you, and I want to relate this to morality, which is the reason Ross is writing this anyway. There is only a general presumption that since the structure of their eyes, if neither is colorblind, is pretty much the same object acting on the eyes of the two men produces pretty much the same kind of sensation. In a case of a term like right, because he's talking about here the meaning of right, there's nothing parallel to the highly similar organization of different people's eyes to create a presumption that when they call the same act right, they mean to refer to the same quality of it. So then he brings up an example of the application of the term right, just to show how there's ambiguity of what people might think are the same kind of term. He talks about here, suppose for instance that a man pays a particular debt. Some people, simply from fear of legal consequences of not doing so, some people would say that he had done what was right, and others would say that he did not do what was right. They would say that no moral value attaches to such an act. So from this, you kind of have two senses of right here. Now, people like Omicron 777, who are moral nihilists, become to think that morality is an untenable entity, and that you can't think about it. You can't think about morality in the way that moral realists do. And I think nihilists have this idea of morality that is not something that can be upheld. It's because there's so much ambiguity here. There's so much ambiguity here of terms like good and right, and all these terms that become sort of abstract because of this ambiguity here. This whole ambiguity here, because you have senses of right where people might think that you have to have a sense of duty. You have to have a sense that you're doing a duty if you have moral rightness there, and then others don't. Because people might think that the man pays the debts because fear of legal consequences. Some people don't think that that's morality because there's no sense of duty there, that you're doing it for your own purpose. It's kind of a consequential idea there, for social utility or something like that. It's sort of a consequential idea, and others think that you have, or not, others think that others think differently. But I want to discuss this little point here. When referring to morality, because this is, I think, is a huge reason why morality is referred to as something that is untenable, and it's difficult to uphold. And I disagree with moral nihilists, because I think even though you have this ambiguity here, there's still morality. There's still morality there. It's just a very ambiguous and abstract thing, and we have to do what we can with, philosophical ethics to kind of pin this term down as much as we can. I don't think we're ever going to pin the term morality down definitively, but I think it's possible that we can get farther than we are now. If we could look at common sense morality and deontology. This is a deontological video just because this is sort of a defense of deontology and deontological ethics because I just want to show here how even though you have ambiguities, then even though you have ambiguities and abstractions of these terms, then you still can't just say that they're abstract and they're not existent because of their abstraction and ambiguity. You can't just pass them off as ambiguous. So, I mean, you can pass them off as ambiguous, but you can't infer from that ambiguity that morality and everything that is within it is untenable. So anyway, I just wanted to mention this, and I'm going to do, once I kind of get through this, once I kind of, I've read this before, but once I get through Ross's, the first part, the meaning of right, then I want to discuss this whole first part of Ross's book, The Right and the Good.